the most distinguished and handsome young master of the Xie family in Wangjing, had nothing to do with me, but one day, he suddenly grabbed my sleeve, his eyes red. Everything is still in time. We haven't divorced yet, in this life, let's start over. I paused mid-bite of my braised pork knuckle and said, but I wasn't planning to marry you either. Xie Yu, flawless jade, utterly captivating. He is the ideal husband countless young maidens dream of marrying. Among them is my legitimate elder sister, Chen Jingxian. She said that Lord Xie is destined to reach the pinnacle of officialdom, and she is determined to vie for his hand. Yet Xie Yu was cold-faced and unfeeling, showing no warmth to anyone. One day, my legitimate elder sister accidentally fell into the water. Upon waking up, she suddenly slapped me and said, "You hopeless romantic. Don't you dare like Xie Yu. Don't you dare marry him." I stared at her in confusion. You can insult yourself all you want, but how could you hit me? Besides, it's not like I can just marry Xie Yu whenever I want. The Xie family is a century-old aristocratic clan of great wealth and prestige. Not even a princess is guaranteed to marry into that family. Before I could gather my thoughts, my stepmother had already dragged my stepsister out. "How dare you hit your sister? Have you lost your mind? Your sister hasn't even married yet." My elder sister suddenly burst into laughter. Good, excellent. She laughed so hard that tears nearly streamed from her eyes. She got up, her clothes still damp, and came to embrace me in her arms. Truly, heaven has opened its eyes. My Azu is not yet married. In this lifetime, I will never let you marry that scoundrel again. Too, my elder sister pulled me and our mother into the room and dismissed the servants. After taking a deep breath, she began to speak slowly. She said she was reborn in my previous life. I tripped at the banquet and fell right into Xie Yu's arms. Just look at Xie Yu, with his graceful demeanor and picturesque features. He instinctively caught me, and the two of us spun around in place. Then we both landed, with me on top and him below. Xie Yu wasn't moved. I wasn't moved either. Xie's mother was moved. She saw how I knocked Xie Yu to the ground, looking quite robust. I have a plump and round appearance, with a large face and a big bottom, well suited for bearing children. The Xie family had only one male heir per generation and did not allow concubines, resulting in a sparse lineage. Thus, she overcame all objections and proposed marriage to my family. 7 years after our marriage, Xie Yu gave me a divorce letter. He said there was no romantic affection between us. Hearing this, I nodded and said, that was within my expectations. Xie Yu and I really don't seem like people who could live together. My stepmother suddenly asked, "Does Azu have any children?" My stepsister paused for a moment before replying, "Yes, there are 3, all were left at the Xie family." In my shock, the braised pork knuckle in my hand fell onto my elder sister's skirt. The new skirt instantly became greasy and fragrant. My elder sister did not blame me. Instead, she lovingly cradled my not-so-small head. 3 pieces of char siu, let's not even mention it. Finally, under the stern gazes of my mother and elder sister, I knelt and swore, in this lifetime I would rather marry a pig than marry Xie Yu. Even if I were to go through menopause, I wouldn't give birth to a roast pork. 3 in the following months, my legitimate elder sister kept me by her side, avoiding any occasion where Xie Yu might appear. "You worry too much. Xie Yu and I are worlds apart." The young master of the Xie family, a close confidant of the emperor, a favored son of heaven. As for me, a half-legitimate daughter of the Chen family, plain in appearance, lazy and gluttonous. We met at a banquet in the past. He was the center of attention, never once glancing at me in the corner. Moreover, it's been 7 years, and Xie Yu has always said he doesn't like me. So what if we run into each other? My elder sister said meaningfully, "You're still young and don't understand. Even though he doesn't like you, that doesn't stop him from sleeping with you for 7 years. At this point, she snorted through her nostrils, as if her disgust for Xie Yu had grown even stronger. "If he has also been reborn, he might just harm you again. Rebirth isn't like a pound of meat. It doesn't grow just because you want it to, nor does everyone have it at that time." I scoffed at the idea. On the way, I encountered noble ladies who had previously been at odds with me. My elder sister, contrary to her usual demeanor, greeted them with a smile. After those noble ladies left, my elder sister sighed and said, "In the grand dream of life, they are all unfortunate souls." But when he heard that a cousin of the Xie family had sent a daughter, his face darkened. That family was far away in Jiangnan, their fortunes in decline. Shamelessly, they sent their marriageable daughter to the capital, hoping to secure a good match. The young lady, named Shen Qingji, was delicate and frail, yet her back was straight, as if she possessed a proud spirit, making her appear particularly pitiable. Lady Xie was kind-hearted and let the person stay. My elder sister rolled her eyes. She didn't say anything. I wasn't interested in asking either. Spring days are long and drawn out. Spring scenery is bright and cheerful. Good days pass by extremely quickly, in the blink of an eye. Soon it was the day my legitimate sister had been guarding against with all her might, the Empress Dowager's birthday banquet. I had a satin ribbon tied around my waist, with the other end firmly held in my elder sister's hand. She watched the water clock, calculating the time from my previous life when Xie Yu and I had collided. After a long while, she let out a long sigh of relief. It seems it's already over. I was really about to burst. The satin ribbon binding my waist was untied. I went to use the restroom, but just around the corner, I saw someone. A gentleman is like jade, so beautiful it makes one forget oneself. The moment he saw me, his gaze froze for an instant. As I passed by him, he called out to stop me. Chen Anju, do you dislike me so much that you won't even look at me? For I turned around in confusion, locking eyes with the young master. He frowned and said, why pretend with me? You've deliberately avoided meeting me multiple times. Isn't it because you don't want to see me again like in your previous life? Unfortunately, you didn't get your wish. Hearing these ambiguous words, I suddenly understood. So that's Xie Yu. He looks like a celestial being. My elder sister is mistaken. It wasn't him sleeping with me for 7 years. It was me sleeping with him for 7 years. Seeing me remain silent, Xie Yu's voice grew even colder. Do you really avoid me like the plague, not even willing to say a word to me? His clenched hand showed knuckles turning pale, his sharp eyes fixed on me. Filled with displeasure, I really need to pee, bro, and my legitimate elder sister doesn't agree with me talking to you. I took off running, leaving Xie Yu behind me, saying, Chen Anju, we were once husband and wife. Even if I have wronged you in some way, can we not even remain friends? He stood there with a slender figure, appearing somewhat aggrieved. I truly don't understand what he wants to do. Is he really that eager to be friends with me? After returning to the banquet, I honestly reported the incident of encountering Xie Yu. My elder sister crushed her wine cup, letting out a series of cold laughs. Her murderous gaze pierced through the curtains separating the men's and women's seating areas. On the other side of the curtain, not far away, stood a graceful figure dressed in white. It's not hard to see that it's Xie Yu. I kept my head down, eating my food, not daring to make a sound. After 3 rounds of drinks at the banquet, a woman arrived fashionably late. She was as delicate as a willow swaying in the wind, and with a graceful bow, she instantly hushed the men's seats for a moment. She introduced herself. It was none other than Shen Qingji, a cousin of the Xie family. She was exceptionally eloquent, and in no time, she had won the praise of several noble ladies. Everyone praised her as a talented woman. Shen Qingji quickly said, in terms of talent and learning, I am not even 1/10,000th as good as my cousin. I haven't seen my cousin in these days. When I was in Jiangnan, I heard that my cousin was exceptionally talented and a rare gentleman in this world, which filled me with admiration. If only I could meet him. Her voice was clear and crisp, neither hurried nor slow. Behind the curtain, the figure in white paused briefly while raising his cup. Clearly, these words had reached Xie Yu's ears. My elder sister scoffed lightly, putting on an act. Suddenly, a flash of inspiration struck me. Could it be that she is the reason for my separation from Xie Yu? 5. This conjecture was further confirmed when Xie Yu stopped my legitimate sister and me. He said, Chen Anju, you didn't give Shen Qingji a hard time just now, did you? I already said it has nothing to do with her. Before I could speak, my legitimate sister had already pulled me behind her. Her acting is superb, flawless. On her face, there was a mix of 3 parts confusion, 3 parts anger, 3 parts protectiveness, and 1 part fear. Lord Xie, how could you call my sister by her given name so directly? My sister is not yet married. What if her reputation is ruined because of this? Xie Yu was taken aback. He had arrived in such a hurry earlier that he only now realized this was no longer his past life. His gaze swept over my face several times, but I could detect no expression beyond confusion, wondering, what on earth is this person doing? Please, Master Xie, show some restraint. With that, my legitimate sister was about to pull me away. Xiaoyu instinctively reached out to grab my sleeve. I leaped 3 feet away, scurrying to the other side of my legitimate sister, hiding behind her like a chick behind a mother hen. Xiaoyu's face instantly stiffened. Do you really hate it that much when I touch you? I nodded firmly. Without hesitation, Xiaoyu said with a dark expression, then these 7 years, sharing a bed with me, must have been truly difficult for you. As soon as his words fell, my legitimate sister slapped him across the face. My legitimate sister said furiously, ridiculous, if you continue to tarnish my sister's reputation like this, I will definitely take you to court. Xiaoyu's head tilted to one side. It seems my elder sister used all her strength, showing no mercy at all. Before Xiaoyu could react, my elder sister and I had already taken the opportunity to walk far away. After this incident, Xiaoyu seemed to believe that I had not been reborn. He sent someone to apologize and make amends, saying he had been drinking that day and his mind was muddled. The gift was a jade bracelet worth a fortune, truly worthy of being the young master of the Xie family. Xiaoyu is indeed generous, but then I heard my legitimate elder sister say, what bad luck, in your previous life, you bore him 3 sons, yet he never gave you anything. He even said that as the mistress of the Xie family, you could have any jewelry you wanted specially purchased, so there was no need for him to give you anything. Yet, in the blink of an eye, he bought quite a few things for that cousin of his. Now he's putting on a show. I had someone pawn the bracelet and exchange it for silver. That way, it wouldn't bring bad luck. A few days later, Xiaoyu came to see me again, saying he wanted to apologize in person. Naturally, I didn't agree. My elder sister said, we accept Mr. Xie's gift, but there's no need for a face-to-face apology. Let's just let this matter pass. Yet Xiaoyu remained undeterred. Perhaps he wanted to confirm whether I had truly been reborn. When he came to our door once more, my elder sister turned him away through a door. He said, Second Miss Chen, I, Xie, sincerely apologize. Could you grant me the honor of a meeting? My elder sister raised her voice. Mr. Xie, my sister already has someone in her heart and has no intention of meeting you. If you continue like this, you'll tarnish my sister's reputation. Xiaoyu's voice suddenly fell silent, fearing he might not believe her. The elder sister continued, that person will come to propose marriage soon. Please leave quickly, Master Xie. It was quiet outside the door for a long time. Before leaving, Xiaoyu said, there's no need to make such excuses. If Second Miss Chen doesn't want to see me, then so be it. I owe you. If there's anything you need help with in the future, I will do my utmost to assist. This debt certainly doesn't refer to those 2 offensive remarks from a few days ago. It's the 7 years from the previous life. After that day, Xiaoyu never appeared again. My elder sister still couldn't rest easy. She took her stepmother by the hand and truly began to look for a suitable man for me. At the same time, in the tea house, someone began to talk about Xiaoyu and Shen Qingji. Shen Qingji was harassed by a rogue, and it happened that Xiaoyu passed by, playing the hero to save the beauty. Shen Qingji was moved to tears and gifted him a poem. Xiaoyu cherished the beauty, and in the following days, the two became inseparable, attending banquets together. As for me, I met several men in succession, but none of them caught my eye. My elder sister refused to give up and asked me what exactly was unsatisfactory. I couldn't quite put it into words, only saying that none of them were half as important as braised pork knuckle. Perhaps there was no connection at first sight. After a few days of contemplation, my elder sister sent someone to Jiangnan to find a man surnamed Wei. She said that Wei Nanting would not come to Wangjing to take the imperial examination and achieve success until several years later. Later, after I divorced and lived alone, he happened to live next door and took good care of me. She said that by then she had already moved away with her husband's family and wasn't clear about the specifics between me and Wei Nanting. Although his family background is somewhat lacking, if you truly like him, I will definitely help you. I responded with little enthusiasm. I suppose he must have been a poor scholar, but when the person was actually brought before me, I was so shocked my jaw dropped. The meeting place was in a pavilion at the center of a lake. The visitor stood 9 feet tall, dressed in a short jacket. His exposed arms were thick with muscles, his back broad like a tiger's, his waist slender like a wasp's, tall and powerfully built, a dark, honest smiling face, with a mouthful of gleaming white teeth revealed in the smile. Seeing me stunned, my elder sister added, the top martial arts scholar. After saying this, my elder sister gracefully walked away, leaving me alone. In a daze, the atmosphere suddenly became awkward. After a long while, Wei Nanting pointed at the empty plate and spoke up. He stammered, but his words were astonishing. Miss Chen, you really can eat. You're amazing. It's the first time someone has complimented me like this. I smiled shyly. Thank you. I think so too. I wanted to grab another piece of pastry, but my hand found nothing, so I awkwardly withdrew it. I sip my tea, touch my bracelet, and stroke my hairpin. Suddenly, a pearl from my hairpin rolls off. I watch as it tumbles into a pool of lake water. Before I can even react, Wei Nanting jumps in without a word. The sound of the splash was comparable to a boulder being fired from a cannon. The water splashed all over my face. The maid hurriedly went to find someone, while I lay by the lake, shouting Wei Nanting's name. In no time at all, a hand with distinct knuckles emerged from the water, firmly gripping the embankment. With a splash, Wei Nanting shot out like a black fish. He nearly collided with me, who was staring at the lake's surface. His short jacket had already come undone, water droplets trickling down from his sharp jawline, his well-defined chest muscles and firm abdominal muscles rising and falling slightly. For some reason, it made one blush. I quickly said, "It's fine if you can't find it. I have plenty of hairpins." Wei Nanting smiled, like a big dog seeking praise. He spread open his palm, revealing the small pearl. "Returning it to you." My mind exploded with the image of a roasted suckling pig, and I stared at him blankly. He seemed a bit more tempting than a braised pork knuckle. Time seemed to stand still. The maidservants watched from afar, not daring to disturb. It was at this moment that Xie Yu appeared. 7-inch Xie Yu, awakening from a great dream as rain falls on banana leaves. Thunder rumbled. Xie Yu abruptly woke up. He clutched his chest, listening to the rain outside. He had dreamed of his past life. He proposed a separation. Chen Anju did not cling to him. He breathed a sigh of relief. The second day after the separation, he went to pay his respects to Lady Xie as usual. Lady Xie did not see him. She was still angry. She liked Chen Anju as her daughter-in-law, but since Xie Yu had decided to divorce, it must have been something he had thought about for a long time. With no room for reversal, Shen Qingji called him over, more tender and affectionate than usual, her cheeks flushed, her makeup exquisite, and her eyes sparkling. Xie Yu felt a slight stir in his heart, but with official duties keeping him busy, he did not linger. He and Shen Qingji were completely innocent. He said this to Chen Anju when he proposed a separation. They were confidants, friends, not that kind of sordid relationship. Chen Anju's elder sister, Chen Jingxian, specifically wrote a letter to scold him and Shen Qingji. When the servant handed the letter to him, he opened it and took a look. Filled with profanity throughout, the writing is strikingly powerful. It doesn't seem at all like something written by someone who has been ill for a long time. The second month after the divorce, Chen Anju still hadn't appeared. Xie Yu had already grown accustomed to such days. Except when changing clothes, he instinctively called out, "Chen Anju." Naturally, no one responded. The maidservant dared not respond either. The second year after the divorce, Xie Yu suddenly thought of Chen Anju again. This was the 5th time he had thought of Chen Anju this month. Not many, but only 2 days have passed this month. The dishes on the table are quite light. This is his dietary preference. Unlike Chen Anju, who enjoys rich and hearty meals, it's not just dietary preferences. There are many other ways in which he differs from Chen Anju. Completely not the same kind of person. He frowned and said, "Why is there no braised pork knuckle?" Chen Anju wouldn't be able to eat her fill like this. After saying that, even he himself was stunned. Just at that moment, the servant announced that Shen Qingji was requesting an audience. Xie Yu instinctively asked, "What is she here for?" The servant was somewhat puzzled. In the past, when the young lady came to see Xie Yu, she never gave a reason, and Xie Yu would always let her in. The servant quickly replied, "I'll go ask the young lady." Xie Yu waved his hand. "Don't bother, let her go. I don't have time to see her." These days, Shen Qingji came frequently. Of course, it was nothing important. Not here to discuss poetry with him, but to remind him to dress warmly in the cold with a gentle touch. She adds fragrance to the incense, exuding tender affection. If he were to marry again, it should be a woman like this, not someone like Chen Anju. That's what he thought before he brought up the divorce, and of course, he still thinks so now. As he went out, he overheard someone gossiping. That young widow on East Street has remarried. Xiaoyu came to a halt. How could a widow remarry? It seemed he had never considered that Chen Anju would ever marry again. That night, he finally couldn't resist and sent someone to inquire about Chen Anju's recent situation. The servant who returned with the message said that Chen Anju was no longer in Wangjing. The eldest daughter of the Chen family, who had been living alone in Qingju for many years due to illness, suddenly passed away 3 months ago. The second daughter of the Chen family went to attend the funeral. According to her neighbors, the second daughter of the Chen family has no plans to return. When she left, she was not alone. Xiaoyu broke the writing brush. Will he never return? That night, he sat until dawn. He couldn't figure it out. Why could Chen Anju be so heartless, cruel enough to not come see him for so long, cruel enough to abandon even her 3 sons just like that? She left with someone else. No matter how much she resented him, she was still the children's mother and shouldn't have been so indifferent. A great dream. Fortunately, it was only a past life in the dream. He would no longer delay Chen Anju. Chen Anju would not hate him either. He did not believe that Chen Anju was not reborn. If she wasn't reborn, how could she have avoided meeting him time and time again? Of course, he had also avoided her without prior agreement. With the emotional foundation from their past life, though they couldn't be husband and wife, they could still be friends or perhaps, to be confidants just like in the dream, where he and Shen Qingji were like that. At this thought, he couldn't help but curl the corners of his lips. Chen Anju and the word confidant seemed utterly incompatible, yet he felt a bit greedy, watching her quietly listen to him while stuffing food into her mouth. It seemed that being close friends with her would be a pleasant experience. But why did he always want to seek her out? The banana leaves rustled, drip, drip, drip. The rain fell until dawn. At dawn, he decided to go look for Chen Anju. 8. The blush on my face had not yet faded when she saw Wei Nanting. A sudden surge of anger flared in Xiaoyu's eyes. He said with a tone full of resentment, "In my past life, when I proposed a separation, you didn't hesitate at all. Did you already have someone else in your heart?" Xiaoyu's eyes turned red, as if he had suffered a great emotional wound. "But my legitimate sister clearly told me it was he who fell in love with someone else. Xiaoyu married me not out of affection. He disliked that I couldn't play the qin, chess, calligraphy, or painting, and couldn't compose poetry with him. In the first 2 years, every time we had sex, he looked as if he were going into battle, his expression terribly grim. Fortunately, he later came to appreciate the taste, or perhaps, grew accustomed to it. Xiaoyu and I managed to produce 3 sons. In contrast, Shen Qingji was different from me. She was like a wife tailor-made for him, perfectly suiting his every desire. In my elder sister's words, I was madly in love with Xiaoyu. The first time I saw Xiaoyu and Shen Qingji drinking together under the moonlight, I sensed something was off. Xiaoyu didn't offer me a single word of explanation. With the first time, there comes the second, the third, countless times, sometimes in the plum garden on the outskirts of the city, sometimes at the poetry club. In short, always in refined places. They were kindred spirits, smiling at each other knowingly. They might not have reached that stage yet. So, when Xiaoyu proposed a divorce to me, he was very self-righteous. He said he hadn't done anything to wrong me. Shen Qingji hadn't wronged me either. They were completely innocent. It's just that he realized his true feelings. He simply doesn't love me. My 3 sons said that Aunt Shen is more like the lady of a great family than I am, and that I am truly too unrefined to be presented in public, and so, I signed the divorce agreement. On the day I left the Xie family, not a single person came to see me off. I was utterly shocked when I heard it. I can't imagine falling in love with someone like Xiaoyu. Could it be that all feelings are born from sleeping together? Then this time, I absolutely refused to sleep with him. Now, Xiaoyu still wanted to say something, but I grabbed Wei Nanting and ran. My elder sister said that any interaction between me and Xiaoyu must take place in her presence. Since she wasn't there, I naturally couldn't engage with Xiaoyu. Wei Nanting looks big and strong, but is very obedient and didn't ask a single question. As we ran, he hoisted me onto his shoulder. I pointed wherever I wanted to go, and he ran in that direction. I took a moment to glance back at Xiaoyu. He stood alone in his original spot, like a discarded dog returning to the Chen family. The eldest sister asked Wei Nanting, "What do you think of my Arju?" Wei Nanting's dark face flushed red. "Rustic yet handsome. The second young lady is the very best." My elder sister nodded with satisfaction and questioned him in great detail for a long time. It was confirmed that both his parents had passed away, his background was clean, he had no arranged marriage, no childhood sweetheart, no cousins, and no unattainable love. It left me utterly bewildered. After receiving a satisfactory answer, my elder sister asked Wei Nanting, "In the future, I will use a Zhu's allowance to support you. Once you achieve success in the imperial examinations, you must repay her 1,000-fold. As for whether you repay her with silver or something else, that's for the two of you to decide." As she spoke, she ordered someone to bring up a contract. Before I could react, Wei Nanting had already signed and sealed it. After Wei Nanting left, I finally mustered the courage to speak up. "Sister, I didn't, ever since he arrived. You even forgot to eat your dried plum vegetable and braised pork pancake. What else could I not see?" I twisted my handkerchief and said, "I was just looking at him, so big and strong, with a crispy outer skin, he seemed quite delicious. Could this be the feeling of joy in Wei Nanting's eyes? Am I also like a white steamed bun?" My elder sister walked away with an indescribable expression. 9. I thought someone as aloof-looking as Xie Yu would stop coming if I ignored him. Unexpectedly, he turned out to be quite persistent. After my legitimate elder sister was reborn, she became extremely busy but no longer focused on needlework, accounting, or poetry and music. She said, "With only a few decades in life, learning these things is a waste of time." She stockpiled food, provided for children, and funded merchant caravans to search for various rare medicinal herbs. Father initially had some objections, but after a long conversation with his wife and eldest daughter, he no longer interfered with her. As for the marriage of the legitimate elder sister, according to my elder sister, she married the son of the Wang family in her previous life. As she had anticipated, that man later rose to the rank of third-grade official. The Wang family, just as in the previous life, came to propose marriage. I peeked from behind the screen and saw my ex-brother-in-law, handsome and upright, dignified and knowledgeable. Yet for some reason, my elder sister was unwilling this time. Father politely declined, wishing to keep his eldest daughter by his side for another 2 years. Upon hearing this, young Master Wang was somewhat surprised. Although my elder sister had taken a liking to Xie Yu, she understood the principle of not putting all her eggs in one basket. Xie Yu was like the moon in the sky, most likely out of reach. This young Master Wang was her elder sister's first choice. Naturally, young Master Wang did not only interact with the legitimate eldest sister. When young Master Wang left, there was a hint of unwillingness in his eyes. The next day, he arranged to meet with the legitimate eldest sister. The legitimate eldest sister burned his letter and sent a servant to relay the message. "Just say that I have no time to see him. Young Master Wang is a clever man and will surely understand my meaning." I asked my elder sister if Mr. Wang had done something to wrong her in a past life. Unexpectedly, my elder sister shook her head. "He didn't do anything to wrong me. He gave me the respect due to a wife, only taking a concubine after I had been childless for 5 years, and never favored the concubine over me. It's just that," a faint smile curled at the corner of my elder sister's lips, "it's just that later, when I fell ill, he sent me to Qingju to recuperate without hesitation, and he didn't delay in taking a second wife either. He truly has nothing to apologize to me for. It's just that every step he took was the most advantageous for himself. Throughout history, men have always been like this. They seem to inherently know what choices to make at what time to benefit themselves. I don't have as many feelings as my elder sister. I only heard the key point: she fell ill. My birth mother passed away due to a difficult childbirth, and since my birth, I have been registered under my legal mother's name. According to 2, my birth mother was once my father's childhood sweetheart. Some gossips say that my legal mother is sure to ruin me, but if one could lie down for a lifetime, that would be something many people could only dream of. Even if I were more diligent and hardworking, at most I would just change from being Zhong Chencha to Li Chencha or Xie Chencha, bearing fruit for others and letting them reap the rewards. Since childhood, my elder sister has always protected me. I have no great ambitions and am already quite content. I clung to my elder sister's sleeve and wept bitterly. My elder sister said, "What are you crying for? It's not like it can't be cured. You don't know whether I married Wei Nanting. Is it because you died early?" My elder sister didn't expect me to be so clever and was immediately left speechless. In the end, she compromised, saying that in this life she would definitely take good care of herself and not let herself fall ill. Again, I wiped my nose on her sleeve, looking at her with an accusing gaze. She coaxed me for a long time, and in the end, reluctantly took me to the largest restaurant in Wangjing. After we had eaten our fill, she took me to pick out jewelry. Only after I put on a peony hairpin did I reluctantly manage to put on a smile again. Do I look pretty? I turned my head and unexpectedly caught sight of Xiaoyu. Xiaoyu's gaze fell upon my face today. He wore a plain white robe, adorned with a jade crown. His dark hair meticulously combed, he appeared even more refined and handsome than the previous 2 times I had seen him. After a brief moment of distraction, surprise and pride flickered in his eyes. Chen Anju, no matter how hard you try, I will never marry you in this lifetime. Before he could finish speaking, I bumped him aside. You're in the way. He staggered from my bump, yet showed no anger. He looked at me with a hint of helplessness, as if thinking I was throwing a tantrum because my pride was hurt. My elder sister pulled me to her side, sneered, and shot Xiaoyu a glance. Lord Xie, we have matters to attend to and must take our leave. My elder sister didn't want to bother with him and pulled me away, but looking at Xiaoyu, I suddenly felt a surge of anger for some reason. How dare he be reborn together with my elder sister? The more I thought about it, the angrier I became. Finally, under Xiaoyu's astonished gaze, I punched him in the face. Xiaoyu staggered and fell like a white butterfly. His hand landed on the shattered teacup, and in an instant, it was stained red, yet he seemed oblivious, staring at me in disbelief. Chen Anju, how could you hit me? He was answered by my next heavy punch. The emotions that had just been soothed by my elder sister exploded like a bursting boiler. Why should my elder sister die young, and him? Did he live to be 70 or 80? With his 3 pieces of char siu, I eat a lot and move a lot on a daily basis, so it's not just empty weight. I straddled Xiaoyu, throwing punches that landed solidly. Soon, Xiaoyu had no time to speak. The servants of the Xie family were blocked outside the crowd by my elder sister and her maids amid the chaos. After a long while, my legitimate elder sister finally came to help me up. All right. Lord Xie didn't mean to do it on purpose. I took the opportunity to stand up and leave, while Xiaoyu struggled to call out my name. His face was bruised and swollen, his hair disheveled, and he looked utterly miserable. But it must be said, he has a handsome face, and at this moment, it carries a unique charm. Unfortunately, I don't like such a dry and dull type. Chen Anju, do you hate me so much because you still love me? It's just hatred born from love. I turned around and kicked him. I'm not familiar with you. Upon hearing this, Xiaoyu blinked and looked at me with a smile, as if he had already seen through my stubbornness. My elder sister sized him up, a cold smile curling at the corner of her lips. She said, "Did you receive the letter I sent from Qingju, Lord Xie?" After a moment of stunned silence, Xiaoyu suddenly widened his eyes. Being so intelligent, he naturally understood it was my elder sister who was reborn, not me. Only then did he confirm that I was not the Xie Chen he had spent 7 years with, nor was I Chen Anju, who had borne him 3 sons. We are just 2 strangers now. I only feel annoyed by his harassment. My elder sister and I walked a long way, yet Xiaoyu still sat dazedly on the ground. 11 That night I had a very strange dream. In the dream I am married. The small sedan chair swayed and jolted all the way to the Xie family. The young master of the Xie family is as noble as orchids and jade, with a bright future ahead. All the women envy me. Even my elder sister said I married well. I didn't feel much joy, only that it was troublesome. But if I didn't marry, I would tarnish the Chen family's reputation, affect my elder sister's marriage prospects, and even cause my stepmother to be gossiped about. Forget it. Then I'll marry. The wedding night, the legendary most handsome man in Wangjing stood before me. I had never taken a good look at him before, but now I see he truly is good looking. It's just that he's a bit too thin and pale, like boiled chicken breast. Dry and tough. It probably doesn't taste very good. Xiaoyu glanced at me with a cold, indifferent look in his eyes and said, "This marriage is not what I wanted. In the future, I will give you the respect due to the lady of the Xie household, but don't hope for anything else." Nonsense. If it's not what you wanted, why didn't you make it clear to your mother? I rolled my eyes and fell asleep immediately. Xiaoyu, standing by the window, was surprised for a moment before climbing into bed and sleeping beside me, but as we slept, his hand found its way to my waist. You need to bear a child for the Xie family as soon as possible. You just said you don't like me, and now you want to have a baby. With me, my elder sister often says I'm not clever enough. I really am not that clever because I truly cannot understand Xie Yu's way of thinking. Forget it, I have to give birth anyway. I turned the tables and pinned Xie Yu down on the bed. As for what happened later, I can only say it was utterly tasteless. His bones were digging into me. He really is as unpalatable as chicken breast. When I forced him to comply, Xie Yu flushed red, as if wanting to say I was shameless, but on this bed, I am not the only one who is shameless. He got angry and gave me the cold shoulder for a full 6 months. Fortunately, Mrs. Xie's judgment was indeed accurate. I am exceptionally fertile. I got pregnant right away. Xie Yu and I treated each other with respect. Although he was aloof, he never made things difficult for me. I'm doing quite well, but others don't think so. They believe that, having just gotten married, I lost my husband's favor and must be in great pain. The turning point in my relationship with Xie Yu was when I passed by a tavern and happened to rescue him while he was being forced to drink, and he repaid me with his body. Just like that, I became pregnant with my second child. The difference was that this time, he took extra care of me, truly like the child's father. He also had a close female friend, much like many fathers do. Shun Qingji and he were composing poetry and enjoying drinks right under my nose. I didn't mind the first time I stumbled upon them. I even felt a bit embarrassed. I had disturbed their refined pleasure. I hurriedly left, but Xie Yu seemed to have misunderstood, thinking I was jealous of him. You are the mistress of the Xie family. You should have the capacity to tolerate others, he said with righteous indignation. Qingji and I have a pure and innocent relationship. You shouldn't have embarrassed her like that. He apologized to Shun Qingji on my behalf and sent her many gifts worth a fortune. After learning of this, Lady Xie summoned Xie Yu and scolded him. Then, Xie Yu turned around and blamed me for the whole affair. Late at night, he entered my room and tormented me. I couldn't figure it out no matter how hard I thought, whether it was a reward or a punishment. It always played out the same way. Is this some kind of gold inlaid mace? Life went on like this. Xie Yu was both clingy and annoying, with sensitive emotions, often turning cold-faced at the slightest provocation. The 3 children took after him. They knew their father held a high position and wielded great power, so they competed to imitate him and vied for his favor. Sometimes I want to say a few words, but I'm always interrupted by Xie Yu and Xie's mother. Forget it anyway. All 3 of them are surnamed Xie. Even without me, there are plenty of people to teach them. I thought such days would last until the day I ascend to heaven, but unexpectedly, as Shun Qingji and Xie Yu grew closer, everything took a turn for the better. Xie Yu seemed to have finally made up his mind to divorce me, the wife he had never been fond of from the start. That was truly wonderful. It felt as if I had been imprisoned for 30 years, only to be suddenly pardoned and released. The day I got out, I went and ate 30 braised pork hocks. The people at the next table were stunned. Just then, someone walked over and said with a smile, "Do you remember me, miss? That year, on my way to the capital for the imperial exam, I nearly starved to death, and you gave me a braised pork knuckle. I slept until the sun was high in the sky. After waking up, I carefully recalled the details of the dream again. Xie Yu is truly detestable. Wei Nanting is truly delicious. 12. Wei Nanting is very promising. He passed the imperial examination 2 years ahead of schedule. On the day he became the top martial arts scholar, he avoided the chaotic brawl and the crowd trying to capture him as a son-in-law under the announcement board and came to my house. Father was already prepared. He glanced at me behind the screen and said, "This matter also depends on my Anju's wishes." I bashfully nodded frantically at my father. My elder sister pulled me out from behind the screen. Wei Nanting blushed when he saw my face. One of us is dark and red, the other is fair and red. We actually make a good match. I escorted Wei Nanting to the door. As we parted, I secretly tugged at his hand, so warm, like a bear's paw fresh out of the pot. I couldn't help but secretly touch his butt again, so perky, even perkier than a chicken's butt. The lecherous grin on my face hadn't yet faded when I locked eyes with someone. Xie Yu stared at me wide-eyed. He seemed to have run over. His jade crown was askew, his hair had come loose, and he was panting heavily with eyes blazing in anger. He demanded, "Chen Anju, what are you doing? Before I could speak, Wei Nanting spoke first. It's not like I'm touching you, mind your own business. As he spoke, he took my hand, which I had guiltily withdrawn, and placed it back on his own. But, how presumptuous, my face flushed bright red. Xie Yu's lips trembled, on the verge of collapse. Chen Anju, could it be that you've truly changed your heart? How could you treat me like this? I paid no attention to Xie Yu. After bidding farewell to Wei Nanting, I closed the main gate right in front of Xie Yu, shutting out that desolate face. That night, Xie Yu actually climbed over the wall to come in. A dignified young master of the Xie family, who values appearance above all, would actually climb over a wall. The man under the moonlight stared at me intently. The bright moon hung high in the sky. The night breeze was slightly cool. Xie Yu said, I should have realized it sooner. Chen Anju, you don't remember me. That's why you've been willing to stay away for so long without coming to find me. You don't remember me. That's why you're willing to use other men to provoke me. Willing to strike me so harshly. I listened in a daze, forgetting to nibble on the chicken feet. My blanket still hides a braised pig's trotter. Just now, hearing footsteps, I thought it was my elder sister coming to catch me for a midnight snack. Xie Yu continued, that's fine. If you had memories of your past life, you would surely resent me. It's better to start over. Now, everything is still in time. The ever-arrogant young master of the Xie family actually had reddened eyes. His gaze toward me was filled with hope, with relief and excitement still lingering. In this lifetime, let's start over. I can marry you again, and this time, we will never separate. I was taken aback for a moment and said, but I didn't plan on marrying you. Xie Yu froze in place. I said sincerely, I really don't like you. 13. Xie Yu's eyes suddenly lost their light, his thin lips were tightly pressed, his complexion somewhat pale. He took a few steps forward, grabbed my wrist, and shook his head, saying, I don't believe it. In your past life, you loved me deeply, treated me with utmost respect, and we raised 3 sons together. I scratched my head and asked, then why did you end up separating in the end? Xie Yu fell silent, a flicker of regret flashing in his eyes. It was because I was too presumptuous. I thought a wife should be learned and talented, so that we could be in perfect harmony, but they don't realize that a woman's virtue lies in her lack of talent, that a woman washing her hands to prepare soup and staying by her husband's side is what truly makes a life. I haven't really stayed by your side much either. It was you who insisted on coming to find me, but I didn't have the heart to say it, afraid he might burst into tears on the spot. Xie Yu furrowed his brows and asked, did you hear something about me from your elder sister? I shook my head, unwilling to say more to him, and immediately raised my voice to call for help. Someone, come quickly, catch this scoundrel. Xie Yu's eyes widened instantly. The servants rushed over upon hearing the news. How could the pampered young master of the Xie family outrun a group of servants? In the end, Xie Yu was pinned to the ground in a humiliating manner. The Xie family sent many gifts of apology. They all ended up in my elder sister's pocket. She said she would keep them safe for me first, if they became part of my dowry. After marriage, Wei Nanting would also have a share. If he turned out to be no good, it would be a loss. I listened in a daze, habitually nodding obediently. My elder sister sighed and said, with your temperament, you really should be matched with someone who has a lot on their mind, except for Xie Yu. I said, Wei Nanting doesn't have much on his mind either. My elder sister smiled without refuting. I never saw Xie Yu again after that. I heard she was punished by her mother and confined to her room for reflection. Instead, it was Shen Qingji who suddenly came looking for me. She still had that delicate yet resilient appearance, with a face shaped like a melon seed that was 2 sizes smaller than mine. Miss Chen I came to find you just to have a few words with you. I agreed. My elder sister only said not to engage with Xie Yu, but she didn't say anything about Shen Qingji. She led me into the tea house with satisfaction. While I was cracking sunflower seeds, she took a sip of tea. While I was eating the mung bean cake, she took a sip of tea. While I was eating grapes, she took a sip of tea. Indeed, there is a reason why some thin people are thin. Miss Chen you are actually a clever person. He knows that my cousin is only momentarily interested in women like you. If you agree to be with him, he'll quickly grow tired and realize you're not the one he truly wants. What he really desires is a woman who can compose poetry with him and share common interests. I stared at her in shock. She even knows about this. Truly worthy of being called a talented woman. Perhaps the astonishment in my eyes was too obvious, as Shinqingji's confidence visibly diminished. Ahum, I came to find you for no other reason. I just want you to understand this matter clearly, so you don't dive in head first, otherwise, it would be a great loss if you were to be divorced a few years later. I thought for a moment and said, then do you want to marry Xie? My straightforward words left Shinqingji momentarily frozen. You say Xie is not a man of enduring affection. So why would he be long-lasting with another type of woman? I chewed on the pastry, somewhat puzzled, and said, besides, shouldn't a cousin have no say in her cousin's marriage, since she is not Xieyu's principal wife? Why does she come to me as if reprimanding a mistress, as if Xieyou were already her possession? I suddenly understood, or perhaps, you are the one the Xie family has predetermined. Shinqingji hurriedly interrupted me. Don't talk nonsense, my cousin and I are completely innocent. I'm just here out of goodwill to warn you. I let out an "oh." I racked my brains to recall the outcome of Shinqingji in my dream. From my past life in the end, I came up with nothing. I went to Qingju with Wei Nanting and settled down in the place where my legitimate elder sister once lived. Many years later, I received a letter from the capital. The handwriting was Xieyu's, only the paper had turned yellow, as if it had been written a long time ago. As for the content of the letter, it roughly meant, after several night rains, he thought of me and wanted to see how I was doing, but he never found the time. Water bandits came from the south, so he had to go and suppress them first. If I were still here, I would have bid him a reluctant farewell and packed enough food for him. Of course, his choice of words was a bit too sentimental. Wei Nanting seemed a bit jealous after seeing it, and that night he kept me busy for quite a while. Along with it came a message from Xie's mother. She said this was something Xie wanted to give me but never had the chance to send. I suddenly realized Xie might have already died at that time. I slapped my forehead and suddenly saw the light. So only those who die early can be reborn. Then Shinqingji must have married someone else. Shinqingji got up to leave with a dark expression on his face. After leaving the private room of the tea house, we ran into each other again at the entrance of the restroom. She blushed, feeling a bit awkward. I let out a satisfied burp. 14. The ending. On the day I married Wei Nanting, my elder sister gifted me 18 handsome servants. Wei Nanting married into the family, so life after marriage didn't change much. I just eat more now. After all, the physical exertion has increased, but unexpectedly, Wei Nanting did not want me to have children. He said that my mother passed away while giving birth to me, and he was worried. I patted my chest and told him that I was probably very capable of giving birth. He gritted his teeth and asked me how I was so sure. I said, I gave birth to 3 in my dream, but quantity over quality. Wei Nanting then asked me with whom I had them. I immediately shut my mouth, but he actually noticed something amiss. He might be a bit smarter than I had anticipated. This conjecture was increasingly confirmed over the years that followed. His official rank kept rising, far surpassing what it had been in his previous life. Some say, since he's already a great general, why bother being a son-in-law? He should immediately return to his clan and establish his own household. That night, Wei Nanting stood by the bedside of the gossipmonger, holding a large blade. If you cause any misunderstanding between my wife and me, you'll atone for it with your head. After that, no one said anything. At that time, my elder sister had already become a renowned businesswoman. She traveled far and wide, living the life she had always wanted. The health that was ruined by childbirth in her previous life was exceptionally robust in this one. As for Xieyou, he volunteered to go to Qingju before leaving. He came to find me. The sound of rain was pleasant to the ear. He stood under the eaves, not far away, watching me for a long time. He said he died in his previous life 3 years after our divorce. He took on the job of dealing with the water bandits. Those water bandits were about to close in on Qingju. He went without hesitation, and then died by the river outside Qingju city, without seeing me one last time. This matter I actually already knew. Xie's mother once came looking for me. Her son suddenly became a different person, coming to see me every day, so naturally she noticed something was off. She accepted the idea of rebirth and quickly figured out what was going on with Xie. She said that her son, being arrogant, was bound to stumble in matters of the heart sooner or later. It was only natural. She just never expected him to fall so hard. I don't think it's tragic. There are many people worse off than him. He just can't accept that I left so effortlessly. Clouds gather and disperse. Spring and autumn passed between Wei Nanting and me. I never heard any news of Xie Yu again after hearing the first story above. What are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. After being captured by the bandits, I became what everyone called a fallen woman. Pei Xian said nothing, simply followed my father in breaking off the engagement and brought me a white silk cord. On the night I intended to end my life, the young general secretly slipped into my courtyard and wiped the tears from my face. Wanna, if he won't marry you, I will. I've admired you for a long time. Will you marry me? In the second year of marriage, I stood outside the study and heard Pei Xian mocking He Qian. She's been thoroughly used, and you still married her. Aren't you disgusted? He Qian raised an eyebrow and said leisurely, I warned them back then not to dirty Yu Qingwan, or I wouldn't even be able to stomach her. You better keep her in check. Don't let any trouble arise before Yu Mo and I get married. Don't worry, once you and Yu Mo are married, I will send her to the frontier. Tonight, I came to tell He Qian that I am already carrying his child, but now, it's no longer necessary. I felt as if I had just woken from a deep dream, my entire body turning cold. Back then, He Qian was so eager to kill those bandits because he was afraid of leaving behind evidence. 2 lines of tears fell from my eyes. My heart already as cold as ashes. I returned to my room and called for my personal maid, Xiao Kui. How much of my dowry is left? Xiao Tsue hesitated a bit. Miss, your dowry was all for show back. Then, there wasn't much to begin with, and now there's hardly anything left. That means there's no money. If I go back to my parents' home, my father won't tolerate me. Staying here just makes me sick. If I want to leave this place, I must have silver with me. When He Qian returned to the room, I deliberately prepared a hangover soup and waited for him. He was heavily intoxicated, only kissing me repeatedly while murmuring words of pity. Wanna, your hands are meant for painting. How could you cook for me? The strong smell of alcohol irritated my nostrils, and I nearly vomited seeing him happy. I said, Husband, it's time for me to learn how to manage the household. He sobered up a bit, his eyes growing more alert. I'm afraid you'll tire yourself out. Oh, then I'll be bored. I heard Yu Mo is getting married, so I might as well go back and help her prepare the dowry. Tomorrow I'll have the accountant come see you. I smiled slightly. Indeed, he panicked as soon as Yu Mo was mentioned. He Qian had given me quite a few pieces of jewelry, and I had Xiao Kui take them all to the pawn shop. The accountant brought the land deeds and property deeds for me to review. I did a quick calculation on the abacus and realized they could be exchanged for a considerable amount of money. Before He Qian sends me away, I'll take as much as I can. One day, Yu Mo came to my residence without any reason. She didn't look for me but went straight into the bedroom I share with He Qian. When I pushed the door open, she was loudly insisting on helping He Qian change his clothes. He Qian naturally did not refuse either. Yu Mo's smile froze, and the clothes in her hand fell to the ground with a soft thud. Sister, don't misunderstand. I saw that Qian was injured, so I helped him change his clothes. I walked over with a smile and put the clothes that had fallen on the ground back on He Qian. It's not your fault, it's the fault of the servants in my household who have all died out, daring to let you dress your own brother-in-law. He Qian grabbed my wrist, somewhat displeased. You two sisters haven't seen each other for a long time. It's better to be amicable. Yes, Qian. I emphasized the last 2 words. Yu Mo explained on his behalf. It's a childhood nickname. I forgot to change it. Speaking of which, I am about to get married too. I shouldn't be so willful. I could tell she was very eager for me to ask about her marriage. I said indifferently, Oh. Don't you want to know who my husband is? Sister, it's someone you know too. Pei Xian, the young Marquis of Pei. Then congratulations to you. Yu Mo frowned, quite disappointed with my reaction. She handed me an invitation. Both Qian and your sister are invited to attend the ceremony. I casually tossed the invitation aside and said, Got it. After Yu Mo left, He Qian was a bit angry. You're usually so tolerant of others. Why can't you accept your own sister? Xian is about to marry her. I just hope she can be more steady. Xian, I said with a smile. Xian and I grew up together since childhood. It's hard to change how I address him for now. Can Yu Mo say this? But I cannot, probably not wanting me to cause trouble. He Qian held me in his arms to comfort me. I know Pei Xian hurt you. But I will definitely treat you well from now on. He paused for a moment and spoke his mind. You shouldn't go to Pei Xian and Yumo's wedding. I nodded. If we're not going, then we're not going. I'll listen to you, my husband. This just makes it more convenient for me to leave the city. Seeing how obedient I was, He Qian was very pleased. Wanna, I truly wish to spend my whole life with you like this. I forced a smile. Yes, I had originally planned to spend my whole life with you like this. I hid the silver notes I got from pawning the jewelry under the floor tiles. Just as I finished hiding them, Pei Xian's scolding voice came through. This is the first time I've met Pei Xian since we got married. He put on airs and asked me, Yu Qingwan, what exactly did you say to Moa? She's lost her appetite and is even speaking up for you in front of me. I sat down, leisurely took a sip of tea, and simply ignored him as if a turtle were squawking. Yu Qingwan, the only reason you dislike Moa is because she's going to marry me, isn't it? I pretended to be naive and shook my head. What are you talking about, young Marquis? That day, I saw my sister helping my husband change his clothes. I only interrupted them. But I didn't expect my sister to get angry. Pei Xian grabbed my wrist and pulled me up, angrily saying, You said she helped he can change his clothes. My stomach churned, and I couldn't help but retch twice. Are you pregnant? No, I ate something bad. Just as the situation was becoming awkward, He Qian pushed the door open and entered. He asked with a stern face, What are you doing? Pei Xian released me, and there was a strong tension between him and He Qian. I tactfully stepped out. Actually, I was eavesdropping outside the door. He Qian angrily said, Moa is in a state of grief right now. Instead of being with her, why are you bothering my wife? Since Moa has chosen me, then you should stay away from her. I cover my mouth and laugh. How delightful. Pei Xian asked again, When are you going to send Yu Qingwan away? He Qian's eyes flickered with a hint of hesitation. What, are you reluctant to part with her? Not at all. Pei Xian, I must remind you, she looks like she might be pregnant. What nonsense are you talking? I put medicine in her food every day. She could never get pregnant in this lifetime. I see you've taken a liking to her. He Zun's expression froze, and he said, I will send her away immediately after Moa's wedding. I sneered. No wonder the doctor said my pulse was strange and that I didn't seem capable of getting pregnant. It turns out He Zun had been scheming against me. I went to the pharmacy alone to find a doctor since I'm leaving. I should leave a gift for He Qian. I tearfully complained to the doctor. My husband is so vigorous every night. Is there any medicine that can help control it? The doctor stared at me in stunned disbelief. I pulled a banknote out of my sleeve. Please, doctor, prescribe the medicine for me. The doctor quickly prepared the medicine for me and instructed, Take 1 dose a day. Do not exceed the amount. What happens if I take too much? Will I die? No, but I understood and gave the doctor another silver note. I'm quite shy, so I hope the doctor can keep my secret. If anyone asks, just say you've never seen me. I returned to the mansion and hurried straight to the kitchen. I brewed 3 doses of medicine together, resulting in a bowl of pitch-black liquid. I leaned in to smell it. The sun was about to set, and today's medicine should be taken today. I brought the medicine to He Qian. To be honest, I wasn't lying. He Qian is so vigorous and energetic that sometimes I really can't handle it, and I've even advised him to find a concubine. As a result, he got angry and did it fiercely and ruthlessly every time I passed out. He Qian felt immensely proud. Let's see how you can still laugh in the future. He Qian glanced at the medicine and said disdainfully, What is this? My husband has many rashes on his face, which look quite unsightly. This medicine is for dispelling dampness. Thinking about having to attend Yumo's wedding, He Qian gritted his teeth and drank the medicine all in one go. He frowned bitterly from the taste. I stuffed a piece of candied fruit into his mouth and said happily, Well done, my husband. The doctor said this medicine must be taken every day. He Qian held my waist and said softly, Wanna, you've been worrying. It's so good to have you. Well, you'll understand the benefits later. He Qian invited Pei Xian for a drink, and Yumo tagged along. She wasn't in high spirits, so Pei Xian began to comfort her. Pei Xian, Moa, don't take Yu Qingwan's words to heart. Our Moa is 1,000 times better than her. She's just jealous of you. He Qian remained silent. Seeing that Yumo couldn't be comforted, Pei Xian grew anxious. Moa, what will it take for you to be happy? Yumo looked at He Qian. Qian, why aren't you saying anything? You were there that day too. You saw how my sister humiliated me. He Qian finally reacted. Then what do you want to do? Yumo took a porcelain bottle from her sleeve and handed it to him. This is bone cleansing powder. Drinking it will cause the skin to fester and bring unbearable pain. Pei Xian laughed. What a wonderful thing. If Yu Qingwan were to attend her wedding with a ruined face, wouldn't she become a complete laughingstock? This is a great idea. Our Moa is truly brilliant. He Zun was somewhat displeased. Didn't I say she's not allowed to go? I'm afraid she'll cause trouble. Yumo said with a grin. She must go. I want to see her face covered in sores and utterly humiliated. It will also give you a good reason to divorce her. You're not having second thoughts, are you, Azun? Pei Xian also changed his expression. What, have you developed feelings for her after sleeping together? He Qian drank a large cup of wine and denied. No, give me the thing. That night, He Qian brought a pot of wine. Wanna, the night is cold. I warmed some wine for you to drink. The wine pot gleamed with a cold light. He Qian poured the wine and brought it to me. Wanna. After all, Yumo is your sister. You should go to her wedding. I smiled and took the wine glass, drinking it all in one go. A few days later, my skin began to ache as if bitten by insects. I was writhing in pain in He Qian's arms. He held me tightly, not allowing me to scratch my face. Wanna, hold on a little longer, just a little longer and it will be over. My face had already festered, and He Qian turned his head away, unwilling to look at me. You must have eaten something wrong yourself. Don't worry, I'll find a doctor for you first thing tomorrow morning. In a place where he couldn't see me, I secretly curled a smile. All the doctors were at a loss. I shed tears in front of He Qian. Husband, now that I'm like this, will you look down on me? He Qian did not answer. He had someone bring me a veil. Don't worry, I won't look down on you. But he wouldn't even touch me anymore. The day before Yumo got married, I sold off all of He Qian's private assets. Only the house we currently live in was left. The money was a thick bundle, too heavy for bricks to hold down, so I dug up a few more bricks and hid the money securely. Early the next morning, the Pei family sent someone to deliver a message, saying that Yumo was already eager to see us. Speaking of which, she and I have some old grievances. Her stepmother was so jealous that she actually gave my mother an abortifacient. My mother's second child was stillborn. She couldn't bear the blow and died of depression on the day my mother died. My father was not in the mansion. I called a few people and dragged my stepmother into the depths of the courtyard to beat her to death. Yumo hid in the corner, staring at me with venomous eyes. I can never forget that expression. He Qian took me to the Pei residence. Yumo, dressed in a red gown, laughed arrogantly and unrestrainedly. Sister, why are you wearing a veil? Could it be that you're too ashamed to show your face? Everyone laughed and said, we've heard that the Yu family's eldest daughter is quite promiscuous. Could it be that she's too ashamed to show her face? Perhaps she's afraid of being recognized by one of her lovers. Ha ha ha, she has completely disgraced General his reputation. Yumo pretended to be angry and said, don't speak of my sister like that. When she was kidnapped by bandits, no one knew what really happened. How can you slander her like this? I said, I've recently caught a slight cold and am afraid of passing it on to my sister. Yumo waved her hand at the two servants. Go, remove my sister's veil and let everyone see her face. The two slowly approached me. He Qian nudged my arm but did not say a word. I raised my hand to stop them. No need, I'll do it myself. The moment the veil was lifted, Yumo's eyes widened in astonishment. My skin was as fair as snow, smooth and delicate. For this moment, I had specifically hired the best makeup artist to prepare me. No one ever mentioned that the eldest Miss Yu was so beautiful. This second young lady is ultimately a bit too petty. If I had known the eldest young lady was as beautiful as a fairy, I should have mustered the courage to propose back then. Regardless of whether she was pure or not, just enjoy it first. He Zun glared at them angrily, frightening them into silence. I walked towards the stunned Yumo. Sister, your mother passed away early. Shall I help you put in the hairpin? Yumo stammered a bit. No, no need. What, are you afraid, or are you disappointed to see my face? What is there to be afraid of? Sister, come in with me. I turned around and smiled at He Qian. Husband, I'll be back soon. I entered the room. Yumo dismissed the servants and dropped all pretense. Why hasn't your face rotted away? I replied coldly. What, are you disappointed? Yu Qingwan, you're nothing but a fallen flower and a withered willow. What airs are you putting on in front of me? Do you know what Pei Xian said about you? Cold and boring, he doesn't like you at all. And a Qian, that day he came to me drunk, telling me over and over that the one he loves is me. He only married you because he had no choice. To secure my marriage into the Marquis household. Yu Mo grew more and more hysterical as she spoke. Do you think who was the one who found those bandits, while you were being violated by them? Pei Xian and He Qian were telling me all about it as if it were a joke, and the medicine that ruined your face was given to you by He Qian. I knew he couldn't bear to part with it. He's just as despicable as you are. Aren't you the legitimate daughter? Aren't you so high and mighty? I'm going to crush you into the mud. Yu Mo roared with a ferocious expression. She looked at me with a smug expression, but unfortunately, there wasn't a trace of pain on my face. Come to think of it, I still haven't given Pei Xian his gift. I counted on my fingers and said, the red willow and purple swallow from Zui Fengyu, Yinga from Chunlu, oh, and Chu Chu from Yihong Court. These are all women Pei Xian has been with. There are countless women who have had abortions because of him. Oh, and there's also a Zhen from Buju Alley, who has already given birth to a 3-year-old boy. Yu Mo was as if struck by lightning. She sneered coldly and retorted, impossible. Pei Xian loves me. You must be here to sow discord. Impossible. Pei Xian's future days are going to be quite lively. I took a bottle out of my sleeve. This is the bone cleansing powder. Sister, why don't you try it too? No, help. I pinched her chin and poured all the medicine down her throat. As I poured, I said, you only know that my mother was skilled in medicine, but you don't know she left me a detox pill that can cure all poisons. Yu Mo, now you can taste the pain of having your heart and liver torn out. Oh, and by the way, the effects of this bottle are much faster than yours. When I came out, He Qian's eyes held a hint of guilt as he looked at me. I caressed his face and said softly, husband, what's wrong with you? Seeing that I didn't suspect him, he was a bit surprised. Wanna, your face. Xiao Kui invited a famous doctor for me, and he cured me yesterday. His eyes shifted uneasily as he said guiltily, that's good then, my lord. I am feeling unwell and will return to the residence first. The marriage of Marquis Pei is a joyous occasion of great significance. All the citizens in the city want to join in the celebration. This is the perfect time to leave the city. Before leaving, He Qian kissed my forehead and said affectionately, wait for me to come back. I'll bring you your favorite lotus flower cake. I remained silent, simply got into the carriage and disappeared from his sight. I moved the bricks aside to get the money, and Xiao Kui had already prepared the carriage. As we left the city, my carriage passed by He Qian. He came out of Zhenbao Zhai, looking down with a smile at the lotus flower cake in his hand. I just felt sick and urged the coachman to go faster. Once we were out of the city, the coachman asked me blankly, Madam, you haven't said where we're going yet. I thought for a moment and said, let's go to Lingnan. That's where my mother used to live. Xiaotsue counted the silver notes one by one and exclaimed, Miss, we've struck it rich. I pinched her round cheek and laughed. You eat so much. If I don't save up enough money, how could I possibly afford to keep you? Although the carriage was bumpy, the closer we got to Lingnan, the more peaceful and eager my heart became. 5 years later, the barbarians started a war, and chaos broke out at the Lingnan border. I was sitting in the pharmacy, so busy that my feet barely touched the ground. Another batch of wounded soldiers had been sent from the battlefield. The lead assistant was on the verge of tears. Doctor, I beg you, you must save them. Back when I first arrived in Lingnan, I heard that the best medical clinic here was Shangchuan Hall, so I brought Xiaotsue to get the prescription for an abortion. The head of the clinic was a woman over 50. My mother's cousin, Shueminit. Seeing that I could recognize various herbs, she insisted that I stay and study medicine. Aunt Shui looked at me with regret. Lingnan is full of poisonous insects and miasma. Back then, your mother studied medicine because she wanted to stay and benefit the local people. What a pity. She taught me the methods of detoxification and the art of studying poisons. After that, she passed away. I inherited the Shangchuan Hall and became famous throughout Lingnan for my detoxification skills. The barbarians are skilled in using poisons, but no one in our army is adept at detoxification, so batches of wounded soldiers from the southern border were constantly being sent to me. The dead piled up into mountains, the assistant said. The poison used by those barbarians this time is extremely vicious. Many didn't even make it to our Shangchuan Hall before they died. I made up my mind and said to him, I'm going to the front lines. Xiaotsue was terrified. Miss, you absolutely cannot go. The battlefield is a place that devours people. How can you go there? The military doctors are not skilled in detoxification methods. So many people die before they can even be sent to Shangchuan Hall. If I go, perhaps I can break the barbarian's poison. Xiaotsue, during the days I am away, I entrust Shangchuan Hall to you. The number of wounded soldiers in the army has already reached hundreds and thousands. Every doctor put on a veil to prevent the spread of the disease. It took me several days to develop the antidote, which I promptly delivered to each doctor. Only when I saw that those who had taken the medicine had significantly improved did my anxious heart finally settle. While treating a young soldier one day, the sound of hoofbeats came from outside. Report, General, he has arrived. My body jolted violently. As if all the blood in my veins had frozen, a cold voice rang out. This physician, you are blocking my path. General, I didn't need to look up, that voice was all too familiar. Fortunately, the veil concealed me, so He Qian didn't recognize me. I quietly stepped aside. The current situation is critical, as the barbarians are highly likely to provoke war again. Thus, the court ordered He Qian to lead troops in support. Life is unpredictable. What's even more critical is that He Xian specifically asked to see me by name. The young soldier who came to deliver the message was no more than 15. He smiled and said to me, "The general has heard of Dr. Yu's exceptional skills and wishes to personally discuss with you the methods to counter the barbarian's poison." I tentatively asked him, "Did the general say anything else?" He shook his head. "No, the general said he only wants to see you. 5 years have passed, and my appearance has changed from before. Besides, I am wearing a veil, so He Qian shouldn't recognize me." I replied to the soldier, "I understand. Please lead the way." I entered the military tent and found not only He Qian inside, but also the old General Sima Chun. There were also some officers whose names I couldn't recall. I slightly raised my voice. "Greetings to all the generals." General Sima introduced me to He Qian. "This is Dr. Yu, a renowned expert from Lingnan." He Qian said, "Dr. Yu, there's no need to be reserved. You may raise your head and speak." I slowly lifted my head. 5 years had passed, and He Qian no longer had the high spirits of his youth. His face was weathered, a flicker of surprise crossed his eyes, and he quickly asked me, "Your surname is Yu. But what is your given name?" Reporting to the general, "Yu Qing." He Qian stared at me, lost in thought. General Sima, noticing the strange atmosphere, spoke up, "Physician Yu, we plan to launch a surprise attack on the barbarians, but they are skilled in using poison. Do you have a solution?" I replied respectfully, "Yes, but there are countless types of poisons. Only by coming into contact with them can we determine how to counteract them." "Does that mean you have to follow the army to the battlefield?" "Yes." Everyone fell into deep thought. If something happens to me, I'm afraid our army's situation will become even more difficult. He Qian was the first to speak. "Then let's bring Dr. Yu along. She'll follow me, and I promise not a single hair on her head will be harmed." He was just looking at me normally, no different from how he looked at others. The moment our eyes met, he casually looked away as if nothing had happened. I secretly breathed a sigh of relief. I followed He Qian to launch a surprise attack on the barbarians. He set fire to the barbarians' granary, but things went too smoothly, and I couldn't shake off my unease. As we were retreating, my horse suddenly panicked and bolted wildly. He Qian acted swiftly, holding me as we fell from the horse. He cushioned my fall, and before I could gather my senses, my veil was torn off. He Qian practically spat out the words through gritted teeth. "Yu Qing, WN." He dragged me into the woods. My back hit the tree trunk, and my lips grew warm. He Qian pinched my chin, his domineering breath invading my mouth. I bit his tongue hard. He winced in pain but kissed me even deeper until the blood dripped. He finally let go. I shouted angrily, "General have you gone mad?" He wiped the blood from his mouth with a grim expression. "How long are you going to keep pretending? I recognized you at a glance." "I don't know what you're talking about." His fingertips slid to my waist. "My wife has a birthmark on her waist. If you don't admit it, I'll strip you to see if it's there." Snap. He Qian's face was slapped to the side by me. I said coldly, "You've already been poisoned by me. If you dare act recklessly again, we'll have no choice but to perish together." A cold light flashed in his eyes. "Yu Qingwan, unless you poison me to death, I will definitely take you back." I sneered. What's with the act of affection? You were the one who hired bandits to ruin my innocence, and you were the one who gave me the bone cleansing powder. What are you trying to do now? I'm sorry. What happened before wasn't intentional. Pei Xian and Yu Mo deceived me. I truly want a future with you. You've been putting medicine in my food every day, making me unable to have children. Is that also because you want a future with me? He Qian's pupils contracted sharply. You knew all along, however. I did get pregnant, but on the first day I arrived in Lingnan, I had the child aborted. I pushed He Qian away and mocked him. You're not worthy of me bearing your child. The news of He Qian's poisoning quickly spread throughout the military camp. General Sima personally came to ask me to treat him. I only said, that poison won't kill him, but it will make him suffer a bit. By suffer a bit, I meant excruciating joint pain, vomiting, and diarrhea, making it impossible for him to sleep at night. The barbarians had run out of provisions and had been quiet these days, so there was no need for He Qian to go to war, but He Qian was in so much pain that his subordinates couldn't bear to see it and came to fetch me again. I slowly moved closer, wishing he would suffer a little longer. It had only been a few days, but He Zun had noticeably lost weight. I took out the needles and began the acupuncture treatment. He forced his eyes open and suddenly grabbed my hand. Were you in a lot of pain that time too? He was talking about the bone cleansing powder. Seeing that I remained silent, he added, don't save me, let me suffer a little more. I rolled my eyes. He Qian, you should go perform in an opera. A tear traced the corner of his eye. I'm sorry, I was wrong. I shouldn't have hurt you. You are so good. Back then, I truly wanted to spend my whole life with you. Shut up. I suddenly exerted force, causing He Qian to cry out in pain. A soldier rushed in from outside and reported urgently, General, young Marquis Pei is here. Pei Xian had escaped from the capital. After Yu Mo was disfigured, her temperament drastically changed. She took her people and dealt with all of Pei Xian's romantic entanglements. Pei Xian's son, born to his mistress, was only 3 years old. Yu Mo forced a bowl of deadly poison down the child's throat, killing him. The two became the laughingstock of the entire capital. Upon hearing that He Qian had arrived in Lingnan, Pei Xian also requested permission to go there with a haggard face. He tearfully poured out his misfortunes to He Qian. That despicable Yu Mo, how could I have been so blind back then, abandoning Wanna to marry her? As he spoke, he turned his gaze toward me. I was wearing a veil and kept my head slightly lowered. He laughed out loud. He Qian, is this the substitute you found? She really looks like Wanna. When you're done playing with her, lend her to me for a while too. He Qian's face darkened as he angrily said, she's just an army doctor. If you dare lay a finger on her, I'll have you executed under military law. Pei Xian didn't say a word, but his eyes were fixed intently on me. Speaking of which, Wanna is quite ruthless too. She sold off all your family assets and ran off with the money. If I ever run into her, I'll definitely punish her harshly for you. Pei Xian uttered the word punishment with an extremely suggestive tone. I took a step forward, stumbled, and fell into his embrace. Please don't blame me, young Marquis Pei. I immediately stood up. Pretending to be flustered, Pei Xian smiled and looked at He Qian. The substitute you found threw herself into my arms. He Qian said coldly, I'm afraid you don't have the fortune to enjoy it. Pei Xian developed a high fever and was talking nonsense. He blurted out all the schemes he had plotted against me. Now even General Sima looks at He Qian with a hint of disdain. That day, Pei Xian barged into my tent. I didn't have time to put on my veil. He was both shocked and overjoyed. Wanna, is it really you? You have no idea how much I've missed you. I said, my lord, you've mistaken me for someone else. Impossible. I want to take you back to the capital. I don't want any other women, only you. Is that all right? I held a poisoned needle in my hand. If Pei Xian dared to step forward, I wouldn't hesitate to take his life. Suddenly, an angry male voice rang out. Pei Xian, you're really looking down on me. He Qian lifted the curtain and stormed in, angrily blocking my way. I began to sow discord. General, the Marquis said he wants to take me back to the capital and make me his woman. What do you think about this? He Qian was furious. Pei Xian, don't push my limits. Pei Xian was not to be outdone either. If I hadn't given Wanna to you back then, how could you have married her? Wanna was originally mine. As he spoke, he actually tried to push past He Qian to pull me away. The moment he touched me, Pei Xian's arm was severed, and blood spurted a jong high. He Qian sheathed his sword, a murderous intent rising in his eyes. I told you, don't touch her. Pei Xian was rolling on the ground in pain, cursing me and He Qian with the most venomous words, wishing us a terrible death. I kept a straight face, but inside I was applauding with delight. I took a pill from my pouch and stuffed it into Pei Xian's mouth. The pill could stop the bleeding, but the side effect was that it would damage the brain. I had intended to let Pei Xian off, but he foolishly provoked me, so he might as well remain a fool forever. He Qiao and I both claimed publicly that Pei Xian had lost his mind due to a fever, barged into my tent, and severed his own arm. Whenever someone asked me if I could cure Pei Xian, I would simply say, he was foolish enough to cut off his own arm, there's nothing I can do. That day when I returned to the tent, someone hugged me from behind. Pei Xian greedily sniffed my neck. Wanna, you smell so good. The needle in my hand went straight into his throat. The needle was coated with a potent poison. Pei Xian was already poisoned by me, and now with this additional toxin, he would die within an hour. Lingnan is full of venomous creatures, and young Master Pei, being delicate and noble, was accidentally bitten and met his end here. It all makes perfect sense. I watched as Pei Xian fell straight to the ground. At that moment, He Qian lifted the curtain. Wanna, are you okay? I hid the needle and said, he's dead, died from a high fever. He Qian looked at Pei Xian on the ground, his eyes filled with ferocity. He drew his sword and thrust it into Pei Xian's chest in one swift motion. Wanna, this has nothing to do with you. I will handle it for you. I will make sure that everyone who has hurt you dies without a complete corpse. He threw Pei Xian's body into the desolate wilderness. By the time Pei Xian was discovered, his body had been completely devoured by wild wolves. He Xian's words were as follows. Young Marquis Pei was delirious with fever, wandered into the outskirts, encountered wild wolves, and unfortunately lost his life. He Xian said he wanted all those who harmed me to die without a complete corpse. What about himself? The person who came to collect Pei Xian's body was Yu Mo. She had covered her entire face. It was said that after her face was disfigured during her wedding, no one had ever seen her appearance again. While she was collecting Pei Xian's body, her eyes never left He Qian for a moment. I said to He Qian, General, I've heard that Lady Pei's face was injured. Perhaps I can treat it. Upon hearing my voice, Yu Mo's body trembled. You are Yu Qingwan, aren't you? You are Yu Qingwan. He Zun stopped her. This is Dr. Yu Qing from Lingnan, not Yu Qingwan. Zun, I ended up like this because of her. You care about me the most. Kill her and avenge me. Don't call me that. My wife will be unhappy. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. It's truly a case of belated affection, utterly worthless. I asked He Qian one last time. I said I can cure her. Do you believe me? He Qian nodded firmly. I believe. Good. Go lift her veil. I looked coldly at Yu Mo. Mrs. Pei, for the sake of your beauty, bear with it. He Qian walked step by step toward Yu Mo. She clung desperately to the veil, pleading bitterly. Qian, I beg you, don't force me. Don't you like Moa anymore? Moa likes you. Please don't treat me like this. He Qian hesitated for a moment and glanced back at me. I said, take it off. He Qian yanked off Yu Mo's veil. Her face, covered in festering sores, emitted a foul stench and was crawling with maggots. Many soldiers couldn't hold back and vomited. Yu Mo covered her face and screamed in despair. I clicked my tongue in amazement and shook my head. A rare poison indeed. I cannot cure it. He Qian covered my eyes with his hand. Dirty. Don't look. Yu Mo was deeply affected and seemed dispirited. I had no intention of getting entangled with Yu Mo, but upon seeing her, past grievances surged like a rushing river, and the hatred felt endless. That day, when I entered her tent, she was muttering to herself. When she saw me, her face turned pale, and she shrank back. I smiled gently. Lady Pei, I am here to save you from your troubles. I invited He Qian to my tent for a drink. He was both surprised and delighted, as if he wanted to bare his heart to me. I poured him a glass of wine and watched him drink it. Wanna, have you finally forgiven me? I toyed with the wine glass and said slowly, forgive? When have I ever blamed you, my husband? He Qian's eyes were somewhat dazed as he reached for my hand. I twirled my fingers in his palm, caressing. Husband, do you want me? Yes, I had spiked the wine with a potent drug. Back when I destroyed He Qian's foundation, he had been suppressing himself all these years. Under the influence of the drug, he could no longer control his desires. He Chen stood up and held me tightly. I pushed him away. Blow out the candles first. He Chen eagerly went to blow out the candles. I took the opportunity to step back and pointed toward Yumo outside. The bigger the commotion, the more opportunities there are. Fate is in your own hands. Yumo's face was smeared with my specially made ointment, which masked the foul smell, leaving only a fragrance. Not long after she entered, I heard the sound of the two of them rolling onto the bed. I quietly walked to the side and took out a fire starter. I shouted, "Fire!" A group of rough men came to put out the fire, but they were all stunned by the scene before them. Yumo, who had just lost her husband, was pinned beneath He Chen. The two of them, ignoring the raging fire, were passionately entangled. He Chen, who had been holding back for 5 years, was once again experiencing the feeling of being a man and found it hard to stop. It wasn't until General Sima rushed over in a fury that he roared angrily, "You scoundrels, what do you take the military camp for? What are you all standing around for? Put out the fire." A group of people, their faces flushed with embarrassment, hurried to the river to fetch water and extinguish the flames. General Sima was furious and ordered his men to separate He Chen and Yumo. The two naked individuals were forcibly pulled apart. General Sima slapped He Chen several times hard, finally waking him up. "He Chen, oh He Chen, you've completely lost face." He Chen covered his face, looked at the completely naked Yumo beside him, and then at me. He understood everything. I mouthed to him, "So what if I did it? Back then, I was captured by bandits for 3 days and 3 nights. Then abandoned at the city gate. They tore my clothes and left bruises all over my body. At that time, I was degraded to the lowest of the low. Everyone gathered around to watch my embarrassment. Indeed, fortunes change over time. The despicable man and woman deserve this." The scandal between Yumo and He Chen spread throughout the military camp that day. Yumo clung tightly to He Chen. "Ah Chen, now everyone knows I'm your woman. If you don't marry me, how am I supposed to live from now on?" I stood by, watching coldly. This was what Yumo wanted. She was willing to ruin her own reputation just to marry He Chen. She thought only a man could be relied on for a lifetime, and if she lost one man, she had to find another. He Chen mercilessly kicked her away and threatened her. "I won't marry you. If you dare mess with me again, I'll kill you." Yumo collapsed on the ground. He Chen had trained in martial arts for years, and that kick likely broke Yumo's bones. He Chong hurried to my side and asked me sadly, "Wana, have you calmed down?" "He Chong, you look like a dog right now. I wronged you first. What do I need to do for you to calm down?" "Oh, then go die. You said that anyone who harms me should die without a complete corpse." He Chen's expression froze. I knew he couldn't bear to die, but the poison on Yumo's face was contagious. As soon as the war in Lingnan ended, I returned to Shangchuan Hall. Xiaotsue nearly burst into tears when she saw me safe and sound. "Miss, I heard that He Chen and Pei Shen both went to the front lines. I was so worried about you, afraid they might bully you." I patted her head and smiled faintly, saying, "They can't bully me. I was the one who bullied them." Xiaotsue was taken aback for a moment, then quickly understood. "So all those rumors spreading in the army were actually your doing?" I nodded. "I heard that after Pei Shen's death, Yu Fu hooked up with He Chen. The old Marquis Pei was so furious that he sent a letter of divorce directly to Lingnan." "You really have some skills, miss." "It's not that I have skills. Those who do evil will inevitably bring about their own downfall later." While treating a woman, I heard her mention He Chen. "General, he swore to guard the frontier for life and never return to the capital. I wonder if it's because of the scandal with the second Miss Yu that he's too ashamed to go back." I smiled and said, "Perhaps." The woman continued, "But I also heard he stayed here for a certain doctor." "Dr. Yu, you're so good looking. Could it be for you?" "You're joking." "Madam, speaking of the Yu family's second young lady, I heard she died of a sudden illness." "Oh dear. Everyone knows about her affair with General He. It's just as well she's gone. She spilled all her secrets and got her illness treated." I stood at the door, watching her leave. I looked up to see the bright sunshine and the beautiful spring scenery. After hearing the 2 stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.